What's going on, fuckers? So I've had kind of a busy morning, so I'm not going to remember any of the specifics, but I had a strange dream. A series of dreams, actually. Now, I really wish I could tell you all the happenings of it. I can tell you some little things, but it's not personal, but it has to do with people. And I don't want to, talk about people when they don't know. So, for me, what was interesting about it, last night I had a series of dreams. And in this series of dreams, every time I woke up from said dream, something was reminding me, like a thought in my head, like, hey, each time you're going in, this is a different archetype. And I go to sleep, I'd have a dream, and there'd be a new story, and it would be saying something to me. And then I'd get up, and I'd be like, that's another archetype. Then these are all archetypes. Each time you go to sleep and have a dream, it's one personality aspect of yourself, one at a time. And I went back to bed, and it was another one. Now, what I mean by that is, apparently, when I'm, at least this is me, I don't know, this is every time, at least this is what it was saying in this set of circumstances. Each dream was a different aspect of my own personality. Each dream was that part of me speaking to myself. If you remember in the past, we talked a little bit about like archetypes and all that stuff and what that means, at least how I'm defining it. And I'm using terms that are kind of Jungian because he's done a lot of the legwork, so why not just kind of look at that a bit and use as an example. I'm a little bit of mythological terms as well. And in some sense, within myself and within probably everyone else are different versions of you. Each version comes to surface one day, and then another one comes to surface the next day. And so in saying that, inside of you ride a bunch of personalities. And this dream was trying to tell me, hey, like, this is one personality type. Think of it like if they could manifest, it'd be a person. That's all he is this thing. And it was really interesting. And every time I'd wake up, I'd say, okay, like I'd keep that in my head. I'm like, all right, I know that these are archetypes. These are different versions. Let's go to the next one. And I must have had me like at least 5 or 6 dreams last night. And I woke up that many times. And that's the issue with my sleep is dreaming, man. If I didn't dream as much, I'd get a hell of a lot better sleep. Because they wake me up to tell me something, or they wake me up to because they're like so like holy fuck, or they tire me out. Those dreams, man, I feel like I'm working, and then when I come out of the dream, I'm like, oh Lord, I'm exhausted from that dream. I want to go to sleep, but it's 4 a.m. I got to get up for work. So it's a blessing and a curse. The curse is I don't think I've ever been able to have a full day of rest in many, 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 many years. The blessing is it's teaching me things that I never would have thought otherwise. It is so fucking bizarre. Some of these dreams were very sinister, and I was hiding from something. And one of them I was hiding from some evil force outside of a vehicle of knowledge. And in that understanding, the next dream took me to the next part of the dream, which is like, okay, that happened. Now you're here and you're speaking with a friend, and this friend is aiding you in a sense by giving you kind of cover. And I was able to interpret that by saying, my friends helped me get out of these situations. This sinisterness, it's like this unknown force. When I was in that situation where it was sinister, we were in, me and all these kids were in a school bus, and it broke down in the middle of the night. We had a camp, I don't know where it was. It was like in the middle of nowhere. I don't know what region, but it was just nowhere. It was just one road and nothing all around us. No civilization. So, and I had to stay with these kids overnight, and it was scary because, like, I remember some people saying, like, should we leave the windows cracked and all that? And who cracked that window there? And it was me. I was the only one that cracked the window. I was like, I just think that we should have that a little open. We don't need to shut away fully. And someone looked at the front of the bus and like, oh, the door will open automatically. What do we do about that? And I was like, well, there's nothing to do about it. It'll just open if it opens, you know? Don't fight it. For some reason was my attitude with children, you know? But I get the symbol in that. Like in real life, that's fucking bizarre. I'm like, yeah, I'm not really gonna protect the kids. If something wants to kill them, I'm gonna let it kill you. You know, I wouldn't do that in real life. But in the dream, it made sense to me, the choices that I was making. Now the second dream, the only ones I can remember is like a few of them. That situation was either over or ending, and I was with a friend at his big apartment. For some reason he had this big apartment, and I was like, hey, like that's going on back there, like I gotta figure this shit out. And somehow he kind of made me coffee. And he's like, you need to, you know, relax and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but like we can't really relax when that shit's going on, these kids and stuff. And, you know, we went through hell last night. And it's probably because I see this person as someone that aids me spiritually all the time in my real life. This person that really aids me and is on the same path, I feel. Spiritual path. Though I feel like he's kind of walking away from it a bit, personally. I will never say that. Of course, I am now. Whoops! But anyway, so there was that aspect of the dream, and in some sense, every dream here was, like I said, a personal version of myself that we were understanding. Now, why is this important? Why are we discussing this as of right now? Well, here we are. Sorry. Here we are at the crucial point of the Forgotten series. If you're even paying attention to it, if you're one of the people that actually watches it, I don't know. It's hard to tell. I can't tell who's watching what. But anyway, the newest Forgotten series, we left off with Dove discovering he was Harius. And I discussed with you, I said, we're going to go a little sideways. We're going to go kind of off the path a little bit. And I'm going to tell you how Harius came to the point where Dove met him. How did Harius, this being, become inside of a tomb that is the universe? What the hell does that even mean? And this story begins a lot smaller than you'd imagine. This story begins as a human being on Earth. And it ends with a death of a god in a universe, which is a transcendence of becoming Dove and all that. And we're going to figure out how this shit works and why and everything. But suffice to say, it's a pretty insane story. That story has a hell of a lot to do with this series of dreams that I've had before. I would always have dreams that kind of connect within each other and are broken up by me waking up. As if like chapters, like a movement will happen in a dream. There'll be a beginning and there'll be like an end. And then I'll wake up, oh shit. And something will be triggering something will be saying, remember, or do this, or some shit. Then I fall back asleep, another dream begins, but there's the memory of the previous dream following it. And I feel like I'm living a book in every time I go to fucking sleep. This is what I'm telling you, it's exhausting, because I feel like it's a hell of a lot. It's like watching a movie every fucking night. Really intense, epic movies and shit. Oh. So anyway, I had a series of dreams before that are so, I remembered all of them. It's so rare that I'll remember all these dreams, because there's so many, and there's all these little moving parts and shit. And the ones from today I forgot because I didn't try to remember it. I had so much stuff to do. Sadly, I wish I would have remembered. Maybe it'll come again. But last time I wasn't so distracted, and so I was able to recall it all. And then I'm using that as the basis of the creation of Harius. It's so cool. It's a really cool story, actually. And there's a lot to be dug from it. There's a lot of symbolism in there. And it's not necessarily from me. It feels divine. It feels like because I understand the dream happened in my head. And I made the scenarios and shit. But it just feels so otherworldly when you'll hear the story. It's crazy. You'll figure it out. So, who is that? Oh, it's Danny. So, in saying that, The series of stories are a series of dreams that I've had. So, why is the archetypes important? Why did this new dream say, hey, each dream you had was an archetype? Why is that all what we're talking about? Well, in some aspect, the creation of a god is within the mind of a being of sacrifice, as we understand it. So the newest one we can know is like Jesus. That person holds within them, like a vessel, all the proper tools that are needed to create a living God. In that living God, it needs these individual tools, which we could define as archetypes, emotions, or states of being, you name it, man. Different aspects of you that create your mind. It's so multifaceted, it's not a simple thing. I can't just say an archetype is an emotion, because it's bigger than that. It's more than that, and I don't have the proper words for this shit yet. But in some way, each one of these is like some sort of smaller vessel, or they contain something. Not necessarily a vessel for you to enter, per se, but a vessel for your own very thoughts. Like batteries, if you will. You can charge them and stuff, and that goes to the source, which becomes the God. That God leads to a transcendence of being. Something humans have been doing for a long fucking time. If you even study a little bit of mythology, you'll know that we've always sought this. The biggest ones that are examples are like Buddhism, Christianity. Those are like the two big ones that we kind of keep our eyes on a little bit in thinking about this. Buddha consciousness and Christ consciousness, right? That's really all it is. It's just I am giving you myself and my understanding and my being to help you find this kind of transcendence that allows you to move on, right? We're always thinking that this is a place to leave, and we've always been trying to leave it because we've learned a long time ago that eventually people stop breathing and they get cold and then they die and shit. And we're like, what the fuck is that? Why is he not living anymore? Once humans wrap their heads around that idea that, oh, this isn't a permanent place, you just die, you just stop. For some reason, you get really old and die. And so does everything around us. So when people start realizing that and they start burying their dead, it created symbolism, it created ritual, and all of a sudden out of that, our minds told us, well, that must be eternal, because that part is gone, not the body. The body stayed right here. So we need to make sure we understand how we transcend. And ever since then, people have been trying to learn how to transcend this realm upon death. And there are so many different religions that have so many different opinions on how that can be so. I'm not here to tell you who's right or wrong. But from what I've gathered through mythology, I can tell you that people truly believe this. And so it was a part of my idea, and I was like, well, what the fuck does that mean, right? Remember how I told you I'm a little bit too precise about things. So I'm thinking, well, if I'm writing a book that is a mythology, that is a fantasy that's slowly turned into some sort of self-exploration, some sort of me thinking of myself and who I am as a human and putting it into story form, then what is transcendence? I can't just say, well, I don't know, it doesn't matter. People die and then maybe God exists in this world. Like, no, there's more to it. So that led me down this long-ass road that turned into something very akin to Gnosticism. Not on purpose. It's just kind of me and a few guys kind of puzzled it together, and as I've been looking, I'm like, guys, we've created Gnosticism here. This is literally what that is. And so I started to think to myself, there's something in Gnosticism. Now, Gnosticism, Christianity, Buddhism, in my estimation, thus far, and I'm not saying I'm right or wrong, this is just where I feel I'm at right now, those are all lesser. Those are all very great ideas, but you can get caught in the minutia of it and the dogmatism of it and the liturgy of it, and you can get really caught in the actual thing, but each one of them is a vessel. That's like getting too hung up in a story and saying, well, the story is about the story and the lessons inside the story. Where I'm trying to say, what about the author who made the story? Let's focus more on that than the actual messages in the story. Does that make sense? So that's kind of what I'm doing with religion. I'm saying What's the lesser version of it? All the way up to the fucking esoteric. Okay, great. But what's higher than that? Who made it and why? And what is its true purpose? Its true purpose is the creation of it. Why was this made? And that's where I'm at. And so that's why I say religion, even in its highest form of its esoteric mysticism of it, mystical Christianity and Sufism for the Islamic people, and Kabbalah for the Jews and shit, even higher than that. Why the fuck was it made? And in that answering of a question, to be able to write my own story better, I've been led on this spiritual journey. And so far I feel that these religions are vessels that you can place aspects of yourself into, your archetypes, to manifest into ideas or entities. For, let's say, for instance, Christianity, saints. You know what I'm saying? Like, aspects of yourself are manifest in them so you can physically see them. The ritual of the prayer is to invoke those aspects, to keep those parts of yourself in focus to work on or whatever. Like your sins too. Like, sins are just aspects of that as well. You think in Kabbalah and all that shit, they're talking about the tree of life, the Sephorath or whatever it's called. And you think, well, the purpose of that is to kind of become in union with God and different aspects of Him. That's all it is. There is no right or wrong one. So far as I'm seeing, there is no, and this religion is the only right one, and all the rest are just fucking bullshit. Like, that's so fucking ignorant. And that's a lesser thought. It's been my job to come to higher thoughts, to not get caught in little fights about, you know, what's more correct, Catholicism or Protestantism. You know, stupid shit. I'm sick of it. Is Eastern Orthodox more correct than Western? You know, like, we don't know. Stupid. Not important. The important part is, why was it created? And who was it created for? And how do you use it properly? That's the whole idea of what we've been trying to do here. That's the whole motherfucking idea of my entire journey. And the reason I'm doing this is to tell you a fucking story. The reason I'm doing this is to tell you a story that is deeply entwined with my psyche. One that is so deeply enriched by my very being that every single aspect of it is a part of myself. So that I may tell you the story and tell you its outcome and tell you what I feel, think, and see and all that shit. But also how to transcend. We're seeking transcendence like the chakra system. You're raising yourself up to the heart, right? I know it goes higher than that, but the heart is like this main place. That's the Christ consciousness, Buddha consciousness, and all that. You're in union with your higher human self. That's like the shit that alchemy is really built around. Seemingly, of course. I don't know much about alchemy, but just a little bit that I've been learning, that's kind of seemingly what it's about. Because the idea of real alchemy used to be making metal into gold. Well, fucking alchemy in this sense is making yourself into a gold, you know, or a transcendent self through chemicals and all this, because they understand a different level of this shit, you know, and I'm not quite there yet. That's very physical. But my point is, in those dreams, it reminded me, pay attention when you dream now, because those are different archetypes speaking to you. As in, your internal everything, your organs, your mind, your heart, your muscles or whatever, all these parts of you are always in communion with you. The problem with spirituality sometimes seemingly is we separate ourselves from the body and say, that's just a vessel, that's just a bag of meat and bones, that doesn't truly matter, I just got to take care of it like I should take care of my car because God gave it to me, but the real purpose is my soul. That's what matters more. I'm starting to realize the intertwining nature of the body in communion with the soul. The body has a lot to teach us. Something the soul needs to listen to. But there's got to be this intermediary. So the computer in your car is saying, yeah, everything's all fine. But you know that your lifter is bad in your engine. You know it's not doing well. And you know you need to work on it. The computer doesn't know anything about that. Who does? You, the driver of the vehicle. So in some sense, the computer, I don't know, I would say maybe that's consciousness and your body's the vehicle. Well, your soul is the driver who needs to get in there and tell the computer, hey, dumb fuck, like this is wrong, we got to fix it, so we can identify the problem. You have to make them work in tandem. In dreaming, not only is it mental states you're going through or spiritual states, but sometimes your body's communicating with you. I've had dreams where my body was physically telling me, hey, you are struggling with your acid reflux problems because of this food you're ingesting. And it was telling me in the dream and punishing me in the dream about it. It even counted down when I was about to have an acid thing, where acid comes up, then it gets in your lungs a little bit, and then you kind of choke on it. There's a whole ass thing that happens with it. And it warned me, and I wasn't listening. So like, that's what I mean. Your body can tell you stuff about you. The pain you have in the external world is taken to this dream world, if you want to say, and you must learn from it. It's just a place, some could think like a simulation to troubleshoot what's been going on. Let's troubleshoot the problems, running through the diagnostics and stuff. And I'm not saying like, this is it, man, I figured it all out, no more work need to be done. This is just speculation on my half. I'm not really sure what anything is, honestly. We're just kind of fumbling around as we always do. But I just wonder to myself that there is some purpose in it, because that's the realization I'm coming to. What are we doing? Just staring at each other? Okay. Sorry, I just wondered what they're doing. They're like both just staring at each other. You know how cats do. Come on, weirdos. So yeah, that's kind of where we are so far. That's the journey we're in. Something I just wanted to bring up because I thought it was very interesting, the whole, the voice telling me, hey man, these are just archetypes. And I'm like, okay, I'll remember that, I hope. That's usually how it goes. I don't remember as much as I need to. It's always been an active problem of mine, memory. Yeah, so that's that. I just wanted to bring that up, throw that at you, see what you think about it. Tell me how wrong I am. Tell me if it's cool. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. I don't really know anymore what anything is. But the road is ever long, isn't it? One day you feel this way, and the other way you feel another. And then a few days from then, you don't even know what is anything. Sometimes it's like, some days I'll feel really excited about realizations. Other days I'm really content with my life. Then there are some days filled with dread of like moving on and on and on. Like a foreboding sense of doom is upon the horizon. Some days are like that, and I'll never figure out what that doom is. And it might dissipate, might turn to nothing. Or other times it might be a warning that something monumentous is on the way. But every day is a different day, you know? Some days it's really easy to read. Other days I can't even bother to fucking pay attention. Sometimes I get in a good work mode and I get a lot of things done. Other days I'm in there and I'm like, I don't fucking feel it today. It's so on the wind sometimes. The biggest thing I've done in my life is I realize that I am very on the wind. I let the day decide, generally. And I'm just kind of floating on a breeze, really. But anyway, one of these days I'll start working on that episode again. We'll see. But anyway, I shall see you in the next one.